Well, we started off with farro, and now we are moving on to quinoa. And I've heard of quinoa. I'm sure you guys have all heard of it. It's the new super grain, superfood.
New superfood, yes. So when we say it's a superfood, it means it's super good for us in a variety of ways. So what we're going to do with this recipe is we're going to make more of a quinoa pilaf. Okay, so for
What's
this,
a
pilaf is just the term you would use when you're doing a certain method. So in this case, what we're going to do is I'm heating up my pan right now, and I love how you always give me the great segue too. We'll add a little tiny bit of olive oil to this. Make sure your pan is hot first before you add the olive oil, and that way the oil gets hot right away. And then I'm going to have you add half of that smoked paprika.
Half of that?
Yeah, just go ahead and shake into half of it. Yep.
And this has a little kick to it, a little something?
So this is smoked paprika. So if you go ahead and smell that, you'll notice it has a really nice smoky.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take it off the heat a little bit because we're burning up a little bit.
Oh, it smells good.
Ooh, and I just got a little dose of it right down the back of the throat. So warning, Will Robinson. So anyway, so what I'm doing is I've just wanted to make that a little fragrant. And you can tell that that is pretty fragrant right now.
Ooh,
so I don't know if your camera can get that. So this is not our grandmother's paprika, obviously. Okay, so to this I'm going to add our quinoa. Okay, and this is also something that you want to rinse. Okay, you don't have to soak it, but you want to rinse it. So go ahead and give that a nice good stir.
Why do we want to rinse it?
Because sometimes it has little particles in there that maybe we just don't want to include in our diet.
Okay.
You know, because this is a grain, it's a natural product. Anything could be possible in the processing.
So I'm just
You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. You are parching.
That was the word I was looking for. I'm like, what did she just teach me in the last segment?
Exactly. So what we're doing is just coating the flavor of the paprika now around the grain itself. And then similar to what we did with the farro, we're going to add our vegetable stock to this.
Right now?
Uh-huh.
Was that my hint?
That was a perfect perfect response.
Yeah, this doesn't look like my vegetable stock.
So this is an organic vegetable stock that I just picked up at one of the local stores. Now, you could also use water, and actually I have water in the recipe. But one thing I want to point out is on the package it will tell you to use a 2-to-1 ratio of water to quinoa. I actually like to add another half a cup of liquid on top of that. I have found that it actually gives a little more tenderness to the grain itself.
And we're following your recipe, so that's what's going to be on the website.
So you'll find that on the website. Okay. Absolutely right. So while we're getting that up to a little bit of a boil there, let's finish off our farro recipe. Okay? So if you look in here, what we have is
looks like oatmeal.
Well, I guess you could say it. Well, remember, oats are grains. So they're all in the same family. So this is now done. And you'll see there's some residual liquid left in the pan. That's okay. As this sits, it's going to keep absorbing liquid just like risotto would. Okay, and we had talked about that a little earlier. So grains will absorb the liquid. So what we'll do with this is we're going to fold in. I'll let you do that. Grab our handle right here. And go ahead and fold in our seared mushrooms.
Like this?
Just like that.
Okay. You said fold in. I'm like, is that something tricky? Am I supposed to know what that is?
Well, we have to use a different vocabulary to keep you guessing. Otherwise, we can't add any value.
In other words, put the mushrooms in the grain.
Put the mushrooms in there, and then I'm going to season that with a little bit of salt, a little bit of kosher salt, and then I'll have you grab the oregano that's straight to your right, and you're going to add that in as well.
Okay.
And if you had flat leaf parsley you wanted to use.
All of it?
All of it, yeah. This time we're going to go with all of it. And I just probably put in about half a teaspoon of kosher salt. And we'll taste that to make sure that that's good to go. So just give that one more stir, and then we can actually put that into our little...
And that oregano is so fragrant.
Very, very fragrant. You can put that right into here if you'd like, okay?
Gosh, I wish I had a cook, a chef like you in the kitchen all the time. It would make my life so much easier.
You know, anything's available for a price.
Oh, gosh. Can I just come over because I'm nice?
So there we go. We look at this. So now we just want to do a little tasting of this. Make sure you always taste your food before you serve it to somebody, because if they don't like it, then that's more, your fault than theirs.
It's definitely your fault.
Okay, I'm giving you the spoon, but make sure you blow because this is hot.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
That was really good.
That's really good.
A little salty for me.
Well, that's probably because I just didn't finish stirring. So let me do that one more time.
I'm not a big salt girl. I'm learning how to eat salt.
Ah, yes.
Very good.
It always elevates your flavor of your food. So what we'll do with this too, what you can do is you can finish this if you wanted to get really dramatic, since we have mushrooms in it, with a little white truffle oil.
Okay.
And that just sends someone over the edge.
Perfect. We love sending our guests over the edge.
Edge is a good place.
All right. We have more to come. We're going to be making some couscous when we come back in a few minutes.